Hey you guys, so first I'm going to start off by priming my skin with the Too Faced Hangover Primer, and then I'm going to apply the Smashbox Pore Filling Primer, I believe that's what it's called, directly on my cheek area. Here I'm going straight into my Juvia's Place concealer, and I apply this off camera, but just directly underneath my eyes, my chin, my cupid's bow, and my nose area. So basically my T-zone is where I applied the concealer, and I'm blending this out with my damp Real Technique sponge. Make sure you damp your sponge before blending this out, y'all. Next, I'm going in with my LA Girl concealer in the shade Chestnut Cream Contour. You don't have to do this step, but I'm just applying this on my cheekbones, forehead, and jawline area. And here I'm just buffing that cream contour into my skin using this flat, dense foundation brush. This is really good for cream products. But yeah, I'm just buffing that around the concealer. At first, this may look a little messy, but it's okay. Just make sure everything is blended out first, and then we're going to apply the foundation right on top. Here, I'm just going back in with my Real Technique sponge just to make sure that both products are blended together. Next, I'm going to apply my NARS Natural Radiant Long Wearing Foundation in the shade Tahoe. And I'm also taking a really small amount of that foundation and blending it right over my cream contour. And I'm doing this because it gives me a more natural look, and I feel like I'm also saving a lot of my foundations when using this method, but just focusing it on the areas where I need it the most and also where I didn't apply any makeup. So around my mouth and my forehead area, just to blend out the concealer and the cream contour, just making sure everything is blended all together. Here I'm going in with my Fenty concealer, which is my fave, and as you can see, I'm only applying a small amount directly underneath my eyelid because we already put that first concealer and I don't want it to cake up underneath my eyes too much. This Fenty concealer is really full coverage and long wearing, so that's why I'm applying this one last. To set that, I'm going to use my Laura Mercier translucent setting powder, which is my favorite all-time setting powder. But if you are a beginner, I do recommend going in the drugstore and just testing out a few of the drugstore brands. They have a really good, Makeup Revolution has a really good setting powder, but this one just works for me, and I know for a fact that it's going to work well with any product that I use. And I'm also blending this powder on my T-zone area and around my mouth because that's where I get the most oiliest, and that's where I crease the most. So you want to make sure that you're setting the powder into those areas so it doesn't crease, doesn't move, and it just stays put. To set the rest of my face, I'm going to use the Sephora Micro Smooth Setting Powder in the shade Tan 35, and this powder is really nice and lightweight. If you don't like super heavy powders, this one is perfect. To warm up my skin, I'm going to use the Makeup Revolution bronzer. I'm not sure which shade this is, but I'm going to put it in the link below. And yeah, I'm just using this to set that cream contour and to add a subtle warmth, you know, some color back into my skin. You want to add bronzer so your makeup, your face won't look so flat. I feel like bronzer just brings like a different dimension to your look and just makes it look done up, you know. To fill in my eyebrows, I'm using the ColourPop Precision Brow Pencil in the shade Dark Brown. I've been using this eyebrow pencil for the longest. So if you want to see a more in-depth video of how I do my eyebrows, make sure you leave a comment down below. And I'm going in with my eyeshadow brush and applying that on my crease area. You don't have to use your bronzer. You can use any brown eyeshadow, but I'm using my bronzer instead. And I'm just blending this into my crease and a little bit on my lid, but well, basically on my entire lid, because this is going to be the transition shade for the shimmery eyeshadow that we're going to put on next. Here I'm applying my Dose of Colors Katie and Desi highlighter. You can use any shimmery eyeshadow that you like, but I'm using this one just because a highlighter is more pigmented to me. So I'm just packing that on with a eyeshadow brush, making sure that everything is blended with the transition shade. To line my eyes, I'm using the NYX Liquid Matte Eyeliner. And here I'm just doing like a really subtle cat eye. I don't want something that's too overwhelming because the eyeshadow look is very subtle. So yeah, this is my favorite drugstore liner. For mascara, I'm going to use the Maybelline Great Lash Mascara, which is, I believe, my first mascara that I've ever owned, and I just stuck with this brand. It's so good. Here I'm going in with this CoverGirl mascara. This one is in the shade dark brown. I didn't want a black mascara on my bottom waterline, well, my bottom lash line, because I didn't want it to look too dramatic. So I felt like using this dark brown would make it a little bit more natural and subtle. Next, I'm applying this baby pink blush by Wet n Wild. It's super inexpensive. They have really nice blushes, and I felt like this one looked really cute for this look. And just to set the entire makeup look, I'm going to use the Morphe Continuous Setting Mist. Going back in with that Dose of Colors highlighter, I'm going to highlight my skin while it's a little bit damp from that setting spray, just so it can give my skin a more radiant look. And I'm just applying this on my cheekbones, my chin, nose, and a little bit on my forehead, just the areas where the sun or the light would hit the most. To line my lips, I'm going to use the ColourPop BFF3 Lippy Pencil. This one has been my favorite lip liner for like the past 2 years. It's bomb. And right on top, I'm going to use the NYX Lingerie Lip Gloss in the shade Sable. Well, you guys, that is it for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you on my next video. Peace.